Good evening and welcome to tonight's broadcast. It's a very special, important broadcast. I'm feeling a little erratic right now, and I really needed to address this situation. We are hardwired. We're not running on Wi-Fi, so hopefully there shouldn't be hiccups. It should be, I mean, this shouldn't tax my system the way that it was last night. I was really frustrated with that. Um, Basically, everything that I'm about to discuss is really open to sort of interpretation. Let me switch this on so it's so people can see this properly on the Facebooks as well as the YouTubes and whatnot. Yeah, this is locked. So let me just edit the privacy to friends. Okay. All right, that's good. I hope the picture isn't too stuttery. I hope my microphone sounds good. So, a brief, a super brief overview of what we are hashing out. Okay, thank you, Lynn. You can have my skull hanging on your wall. That's totally fine. I have a special guest with me. You know, the beautiful thing about the internet and this system that I have, like anytime I want to do a show, pretty much, schedule pending, I can just pop in, throw up, slap together a thumbnail in Photoshop, throw it up on YouTube, set up a session, and go live. It's pretty great. And so that's what I've decided to do tonight. We're talking about social justice tonight, but not the kind of social justice that you are thinking about. It's not like social justice as it relates to, I don't know, society per se, but more about like interconnective relationships and acquaintanceships and that sort of thing. And I just want to say that everything I'm about to discuss is alleged. It's alleged. We don't know what's real. We don't know what's false. We don't know anything. That's why we're here, to try and make sense of it all. So I hope you'll join me. And I'd love if anybody wants to weigh in the comments, please feel free to do so. Okay. I have brought in a special social adjuster who is going to basically do a case intake of the situation and determine what is going on here, who is owed what is real, what is like not real. Am I being too entitled? Am I not being entitled enough? Am I a Karen? Am I not a Karen? Like, what am I? Who am I? Am I even a human being right now? The reality is that I'm really hangry. I'm hungry. I want a steak and lobster dinner that was promised to me. But I'll get into all that. In the meantime, let me bring out the social adjuster. It's funny. He does a lot of things. He's a social adjuster. He's also somewhat of a Danzigologist, fellow Danzigologist, of course, and he does a lot of different things. He'll qualify for you tonight as I bring him out of the digital green room. Without further ado, let me bring him out. Hello.
Hi, Jeff. Glad to be here.
Hi, glad to have you here. Thanks for doing this, JW.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I heard you had a problem. I wanted to hear it out for you. See
Yeah.
what we could do to make sense of it, and hopefully find you some justice.
Yeah.
And, as you've noted, obviously I'm a self-certified professional scientist, rapper, cuisine aficionado, traveler, and of course also a self-certified legal expert and social adjuster. So I'm here to hear all the input that we have, weigh the evidence, if you will, and just let you know where you stand, and hopefully we can get you some resolution and tell you what your options are, and I'm here to fight for you.
So just real quick, just so people understand what exactly a social adjuster is.
Sure.
It's someone who state your case to the social adjuster, who then takes in all the parameters and determines if you are justified in your grievance or not.
Yeah, it's kind of like a one-side mediator, if you will. Sometimes,
basically,
instead of going outside of court and hearing their cases and having what they call a mediator that negotiates these two sides and says it. Obviously, we only have one side here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hear that side, and then I'm going to basically assume what's on the other side of the of this fence. I'm going to tell you what I think maybe some holes in your logic are, holes in your argument. I'm going to hear you out. I'm going to let you know if that's strong and if I think it's weak, and then we can tell you what we're going to do from there. So yeah, when you say it's a social adjuster, we're kind of adjusting maybe your confidence and your position in where you're going forward here. So I don't mind the term. I'm self-certified, like you said. So I'm happy to take any title you have.
All right. It's time. So let's begin. So let's begin. So, a gentleman that I have known for many years, decades, even decades. We'll call him Mr. Stacks. Mr. Stacks basically is a self-made businessman who has done incredibly well for himself. He's always, crushing his enemies and gloating online about how, he has just, driven all competitors into the dust, into the dirt. And so basically Mr. Stacks from time to time on Facebook will just talk about how much money he is making. He just loves, he allegedly does this. He allegedly talks about all of his profits and, just how well he is doing. And he allegedly, goes out and invites people to, to claim, meals with him. He will often offer dinners like, steak dinners, lobster dinners, steak and lobster dinners, the various combinations of steak and lobster, just all sorts of stuff. He talks about how he allegedly talks about how scary it is that he is so successful and just crushes all the competition beneath his feet. And so one day, he made this bold proclamation, once again, an open invitation, if you will, where he proclaimed, who would like to join me for a steak and lobster dinner, allegedly.
Okay.
And having had enough of his big time showmanship and gloating and what have you, alleged blowhardedness, I agreed. I took him up on his offer. I said, you know what?
I like steak and lobster.
Yeah. I said, you know what, Mr. Stacks? I would like some steak and lobster dinner. Okay. So I will take you up. When and where? I basically was telling him to put his money where his mouth was, because he was talking about allegedly discussing his money all the time. More money, more problems. In this case, a hungry fellow like myself who's ready for some steak and lobster dinners. So I'm trying to remember what happened next. This was many years ago. This was a few years back.
Was your acknowledgement of accepting his offer, was that done? Did you write that to him? Did you respond verbally? How did you give that acceptance of his invitation?
I personally commented under his post asking who wants to go for steak and lobster dinners with me. I said, Mr. Stacks, allegedly, I would like to go for steak and lobster dinner with you. Okay. And he said, great, let's figure it out. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Now we have a problem. I don't have receipts, and here's why. In the years since this agreement that we had reached, for whatever reason, and I have to imagine it has to do with politics, but Mr. Stacks has blocked me. He blocked me on social media, or at least on Facebook and apparently Instagram now, as I've determined. So I have no way of generating the receipts necessary. But in council with one of my constituents, we suddenly remembered years later. I mean, this is years later. Suddenly I remembered that he still owes me a steak and lobster dinner. And upon talking with my constituent in council, kind of like the way we are in council right now, I made an oath, a promise. Oh, look, we have a cat. Perfect.
We do have a cat. I noticed that Alex requested more cat tails in the back, and my cat happily obliged.
Exactly.
Jumped into the action. So
that's perfect. No, it's
a brief levity there. We can
absolutely. We need a little levity because this is a grave situation.
Sure.
So upon talking with my constituent in a private fashion, I determined that I am still owed this dinner and I needed to do whatever was in my power. The problem was, apparently, I am blocked from Mr. Stacks.
Do we know when the blocking occurred?
No clue, because it's just totally out of sight, out of mind. Like, I literally don't think about Mr. Stacks until he comes into my mind. Like, he occupies absolutely no space in my head until about 48 hours ago,
where it inhabited a much larger proportion than usual.
And now he is located.
Now he has quite the rent-free.
He lives very rent-free in my head now. And what I realized, sorry, go ahead.
How many correspondences did you have with him after the acceptance of the offer?
Well, I do recall that when, remember when crypto money had a pop in 2017? Like, everybody was like, oh yeah, crypto, it's the thing. Everybody loves crypto this, crypto that. And I forget what happened. I left a status about crypto or something.
Okay.
And he I didn't even have his cell phone number. He allegedly messaged me through Messenger and called me to talk to me immediately after not having actually physically spoken over the phone in years, if ever, to just talk about crypto and how much money he was making. And it was really weird. And then nothing. That was it. That was the last time I spoke to him.
We don't need to go into specific personal details of his business, but is his supposed success in business crypto related?
No. He
okay.
Allegedly
doing so well in 2023,
right?
But
allegedly, he has a sort of like a transportation business, we'll call it, as well as an eatery at one point in time. Okay. And Mr. Stacks loves to talk about how overwhelmed he is with all of the business coming in, and just goes on. And he's like, steak and lobsters for everybody. We need steak and lobsters right now. Give me steak and lobster dinners. And so I was like, you know what? You keep offering the steak and lobster dinner, I'm going to take it. Give me the damn steak and lobster dinner right now. I want it, Dave. Give me the lobster. Give me the steak and lobster. And so, and I do recall, if memory serves me correct, I do recall him saying, okay, we'll meet up, or when and where. And then there was some back and forth about, I was legitimately trying to see if Mr. Stacks was going to provide me with a steak and lobster dinner.
Sure.
And he was like, it's not a good time. It's not a good time. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
And then years pass, and through my fellow constituent, I learned that I've been blocked by Mr. Stacks. Now, I've tried contacting Mr. Stacks through Instagram under my They Came From Lodi account for, all the Danzigology that I cover on this channel and whatnot. And Mr. Stacks has yet to respond to those messages.
Do the messages show as read?
Good point. Good point. Let me check that right now for you. I'll let you know if he has read my messages.
While you're checking that, I'm going to read the comments on the side, because Alex says, will everything be good if Mr. Stacks gives you a steak NFT? Sorry, I didn't see that said steak. I'm guessing. I think for our purposes, we would definitely be pretty stoked about getting an NFT delivered, but that was not the original offer.
Well, it's like an NFT is like nothing. It's not a real thing.
It's a graphic of a steak. At least it would be
it's just a JPEG.
But it would definitely be a short changing of the offer.
Absolutely.
Alex, thank you for the laugh. I only recently learned what NFTs were. I have another associate who's deeply invested, I guess you would say. So I'm peripherally familiar with that.
Now I've checked. Okay, I've looked. I'm going to read for the record my messages to Mr. Stacks as I reached out to him. If you're ready, okay?
I'm ready.
I wrote, Stacks, a long time ago, you promised me a steak and lobster dinner after an open invitation to join you. I accepted and you flaked. I am here years later to see this through. Be a man of your word. Buy me a steak and lobster dinner. We will have a great time. Just tell me the date, time, and place, and I will meet you there. And that is and he has not responded. That was today at 5:47 p.m. because I saw that I was blocked on Instagram as well. Yeah. I think if you block on Instagram, you get blocked on Facebook or vice versa. I think
I've never used Instagram, so I can't speak to that with any authority.
I was never following him or connected with him on Instagram, but I was on Facebook.
I do know that there's usually a little thing on the side that shows whether something was read or received or not. So you should be able to see whether he actually not necessarily that he actually mentally read it, but that he opened up the message and
all right. He allegedly left a status, a story, if you will, about how you need to allegedly call and book for his transportation business. And he's showing the interior of a transportation-like vehicle. And
transportation-like vehicle. That's a hell of a selling point.
Well, Mr. Stacks is overwhelmed. He's constantly, allegedly needs drivers. Allegedly. So
transportation vehicles do need drivers typically.
Right. So basically I'm kind of like left not really having any discourse. I don't have his
not having any closure. He hasn't
or closure. Yeah. So what I've done is I am just screaming into the ether on my Facebook, calling him out, asking him to do the right thing. And people are wondering, I've had people comment under these occasions, under these statuses, asking me allegedly, what is going on here? Why are you doing this? Is everything okay with you? You seem like you lost your mind. Have you lost your mind? Yeah. And the answer is yes, maybe a little bit, but I just am I have such a
and is the losing of such a mind the culpability of Mr. Stacks and lay on his responsibility?
Yes, is he liable?
Can you seek compensation for that?
Well, the only compensation I would want is the steak and lobster dinner. I think if I get it, I'll be happy.
Clearly, if you get a steak and lobster dinner, we will call
water under the bridge.
That's even everything is settled and done.
Now here's the other weird thing about Mr. Stacks. Okay. We're not sure if he's real or if he's a figment of imagination. And the problem
let's for the sake of
wait, it gets worse. The problem is if you mention him, he becomes real and he shows up.
He's like not Beetlejuice, Candyman, right? Like if I say his name 3 times, he shows up, I hope he gives me a steak and lobster dinner and not and doesn't require me to be a driver for his transportation oriented vehicles.
I have to give you something for you to adjust socially. Okay. What I just said just now about him being a figment of my imagination, he is a very real person. But
he's a real person, okay.
But we used to have an inside joke.
Taking a new reality in your imagination.
We had an inside joke. Some constituent side. There was an inside joke that when Mr. Stacks was allegedly out of sight and allegedly out of mind, that he just simply didn't exist. But if you said his name, you conjured him, and he would come into existence.
Well, I think that's somewhat fair, considering you admitted earlier in the conversation,
right,
that he was completely out of your mind for the last 3 or 4
Rent
years
free.
until rent free
Now,
until he bought a penthouse condo at the at the top
millions
suite
of dollars,
line,
beachfront property to my eyeballs.
Is ordering room service every day for the last 48 hours.
And you know what? He's been ordering steak and lobster dinners.
Steak and lobster. He's getting his. Yeah.
And he's rubbing it right in my face, literally.
Okay. I mean, I have enough to work with. If you want me to give you an assessment from what you've told me so far, or if you want to
one thing I would like to add, and my motivations more than anything, in addition to getting closure, I also believe that Mr. Stacks allegedly needs to step up to the plate and do the right thing and be a man of his word, because he so often talks about his successes and how he wishes to share the fruits of his hard-earned alleged labor with, anybody who comments on his Facebook status. Right. And therefore, and seeing as how I allegedly knew Mr. Stacks in real life for years, decades, I've known Mr. Stacks. I felt that I was well within my right to comment and to weigh in and say, hey, Mr. Stacks, okay, you are saying who wants steak and lobster tonight? I want steak and lobster tonight. When are we going?
Yeah.
And he did not deliver any steak and lobster.
No steak and lobster.
Okay, so what is your initial assessment? And by the way, anybody out there, please, if you have any questions or comments, concerns, if you want to weigh in, we want to hear what you have to say. If you have anything,
that would be you, Alex.
Yeah, Alex. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he's already on good footing, right?
Yes.
So Jeff, let's take a look at the history. So starting from the inception of this alleged offer of steak and lobster, which you took, you accepted, and from what you've described, he also acknowledged that acceptance and said, "Yes, we will work out the details." Right. So now, legally binding, I have to just take as a social adjuster, I'm just taking your word for this and being your advocate. So I'm assuming that what you're saying is true. Obviously, if you want to take this to a second court, a legal matter, you're going to have those receipts, which apparently do not exist. So
unless he unblocks me, I need a court order for him to unblock me, allegedly.
Yes, and we can subpoena the missing emails or whatever.
We could subpoena my constituent who is not currently blocked and have him clandestinely screenshot receipts.
There's a lot we can do, and depending on how much that steak and lobster dinner is worth to you, we can employ some tactical. I think they call them electronics forensics experts.
Precisely.
That said, this steak and lobster dinner at the end of the day might end up costing upward of $50,000. But that being set aside, like I said, as a social adjuster, I'm going to basically take your word for it. You've never lied to me before. We've known each other for 5, 7, 6, 7 years, whatever it is. You're a straight up guy. I have no reason to distrust your story. That said, I'm a social adjuster, not the Supreme Court of the United States, which we would take to if we needed to.
If I had to take this all the way,
we have to take it to the Supreme Court. We will take it to the Supreme Court, and I will be by your side 100% all the way.
That's right.
So he gave an offer. You accepted the offer. He acknowledged the acceptance of the offer. Precisely. He presented that. He said, let's work out the details. Then you kind of dropped it. And now I still haven't gotten confirmation whether he's seeing your messages that you're sending now or not. So
he hasn't. He did not leave me on red.
I read that. So I would propose this. I would put it this way. And sorry, I'm just gonna. This is a legal pad, so it's.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I just realized we're at the 20-minute mark, 25-minute mark. Real quick before we continue.
You do a 7th inning stretch or something?
We got to just talk about riotstickers.com. Riot Stickers,
Oh, okay.
official sponsor of the Frumess channel. If you need stickers, get riotstickers.com. Link down in the description. Go to riotstickers.com/Frumess, Frumess. You're going to get 1,000 stickers for $79. This is an unreal deal. That's 7 cents per sticker. Look at these bad boys. Look at the banner. That was printed by Sharpie Riot, the CEO of riotstickers.com. So go to Riot Stickers for all your stickering needs. If you have an image that needs to be printed up, go to riotstickers.com. 3 inches by 3 inches. They're printed on vinyl. That makes them waterproof. UV coating protects them from the sun. Those suckers last for 5 years. Let's play the 60-second video from the guy from Less Than Jake. One moment, and we will return with the verdict from our social adjuster.
We make stickers, banners, and buttons too. Posters and promo cards. There's nothing we can't print for you. From stage backdrops to bass drum heads. We can print on shirts. We can print on hats. We can print on pants. Cheap prices and high quality. Quick turnaround times and free shipping. We also offer free artwork support. Great customer service and so much more. RiotStickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RiotStickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RiotStickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RiotStickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb.
Riot Stickers, baby.
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely a catchy tune, but
It's
the funny
catchy.
thing is,
Earworm.
I didn't get to tell you, but that was actually the first thing I saw when we went live was the poster that you had on the wall there. I thought that was really cool. The Frumess with the what's it called? It's called A Trip to the Moon, right? Where they shoot the
yes, that is originally right. That's the first science fiction film.
the first science fiction film. It was French, and it's it's an amazing piece. But we digress. Let's get
before
back.
you digress, one more thing, one more detail you can't see. I put my face in the moon.
Oh, nice. That's great.
I'll send you some stickers. Okay. Anyway,
RiotStickers.com.
yes, riotstickers.com. All right, keep going.
Okay, where were we? Okay.
Adjusting.
No receipts, no evidence.
Right.
That said, I'm going to give basically a verdict and an assessment based on a moral assessment, not a legal assessment.
Okay.
We're not the Supreme Court. So let me lay it out for you. He made an offer. You accepted. He acknowledged that acceptance of the offer. Promises were made, allegedly.
Social contract.
Social contract. That said, I also have to take in the totality of the presentation of these both parties. And when someone is saying that they are successful, and that is actually, in my opinion, contradictory to wanting to crush everybody and destroy, this winner takes all scorched earth policy is, in my opinion, and my personal beliefs, I think that's a little bit different than how I define success. I believe success in a society, and we're talking about social justice and social adjusting here. I believe success in a society is not only personal, but affects those around you. And if he's talking about blessing those around you, I'm not sure why he's so obsessed with destroying people in his industry or his cohorts or whatever. It's a huge place. Why not grow the pie instead of fight over the last sliver of it? That said,
I will say this. I will interject here. It is my understanding, from what I remember from these statuses, allegedly, it seems that at one point in time, Mr. Stack's transportation business had allies. He was working with other individuals, and Mr. Stacks would allegedly scream into the void of Facebook statuses, similarly to how I am right now with Lobster dinner, talking to some guy that I believe allegedly was named Billy or something, about how, like, look at me now, Bill. Look at me now, Billy. About his transportation.
I wonder if
fleet of transportation vehicles. Allegedly.
I'm going to speculate that 5 years before you met Mr. Stacks,
we were really young. I've known him since middle school.
Okay, well, we're talking preschool now.
Yeah, sure.
Probably Billy said, "You're never going to be anything, and I'll buy you a steak and lobster dinner if you ever do get that transportation company that you're talking about." And so probably once he got to his transportation level, Billy came running after him, working for that, and he's been trying to get that steak and lobster dinner. So maybe that's a trickle down, and you're the next guy to get squashed in that deal. Total speculation. No need to throw it into this case. However.
Fair enough. Angus is here. Angus McWhorter, friend of the channel.
Angus, this is about Mr. Stacks.
Yes, this is not about Mike Stacks. This is about Mr. Stacks, who is allegedly the topic of discussion right now. And Dagger Love is here too now. Hi, Dagger.
Shout out to Robbie Bloodshed, who I just noticed.
Yes, and Robbie Bloodshed too. Robbie Bloodshed's here.
Robbie Bloodshed. I'm sorry. I was told to keep the profanity. I haven't done any profanity.
You've been excellent. You've been on your best behavior.
I'm not one to congratulate myself or to heap praise, but
you deserve all the congratulations. I've
gone a long way without saying any profanity. Robbie Bloodshed, amazing guy, super cool, super funny, amazingly talented. His music is great. I don't endorse a lot of people or whatever, but if Jeff can endorse stickers, I can endorse Robbie Bloodshed.
Absolutely, we've endorsed Robbie in the past year. Of course,
I love his stuff, and he's just an all around great dude. But that's irrelevant from the case. So let's get back on track, right?
Right. Well, hold on, Dagger Love. Just so you know, Dagger Love. For the record, Mr. Stacks is not from Lodi. He's from Westchester. That's all I can say. Allegedly from Westchester, and he allegedly works across the Hudson. And that's all I can say, Dagger, about Mr. Stacks and his fat stacks of alleged cash.
So back to Mr. Stacks. If Mr. Stacks is making fat stacks and Mr. Stacks is making big claims, Mr. Stacks is making big offers, and someone accepted those offers, Mr. Stacks needs to deliver. Or Mr. Stacks is all about the empty stacks. He's got nothing in his stacks. If those stacks are cash, if those stacks are wax, he's got to deliver. He's got to show that he means something and that actually is something on that stack. But right now it's a stack of nothing because he's delivered nothing. Stacks has offered steaks and lobsters and steak and lobster dinners, steak and or lobster, all of the above. Nobody has accepted that we know of except Mr. Frumess. Sorry.
Wait. Did you just get possessed by the ghost of Dr. Seuss? Because that was the most... Dude, I was like sitting here with my jaw, like my jaw wasn't hanging open. I'm going, this dude is busting rhymes like he's Dr. Seuss with like Mr. Stacks and his
socially adjusting the adjustment of your situation to get you some compensation. The revelation.
Dagger, this is not Foodie Confidential. This is not mysterious.
So, Mr. Stacks, he's making claims. You got aims to get the gains.
You did say you were a rapper. You did.
You're not a monster. You gotta eat. It's time to greet the system. So,
yes,
Stacks made a claim. Stacks made an offer. Stacks made a promise. You accepted. Did he go through with it? No, he didn't. You're the only one that we know of that actually accepted it. So,
here's the only one.
What I gotta say about Mr. Stacks. We're not talking about a legal situation here because you got no receipts, but we're talking about a moral, and we're talking about
moral and ethical.
And as I told you,
honor.
I am a self-appointed professional rapper too. So that said, we know about what the rep is on the street. And if Stacks wants to protect his rep, he better make do on this one thing that he promised to this one person, a steak and a lobster dinner.
Yeah.
So if you can't make good on one steak and lobster dinner, How are we supposed to believe that you're a baller with the stacks and the freaking respect on the street? We can't accept you. There's nothing to go on. So
if you make a claim about
put up
steak
or
lobster
shut
dinners
up.
and you don't back it up, then you don't got the fat stacks.
Thank you. You don't got the fat stacks. Do you got the transportation? Your transportation-oriented vehicles? I don't know. From what I've heard, you're always asking for drivers. So how's that a transportation company? Allegedly. You know, you got a restaurant. So what did I write down here? The food something.
A food proprietor. He was a food proprietor.
Well, here's the thing. You're a food proprietor and a transportation guy. Send a transportation mobility vehicle to pick up my man Frumess, allegedly, and take him to the business of food proprietorship and serve him some food.
I'll take a Red Lobster, man. I'll go to Red Lobster. It doesn't have to be fancy.
Of course you could go to Red Lobster, but
unlimited shrimp.
If he's a food proprietor, why not propriet the food?
That's what I don't understand.
And you know,
I could give him $1 billion ideas. He could take his transportation business and his food proprietorship and merge the two. Imagine if you had steak and lobster dinners on wheels.
He could deliver right to you. He could pick you up. And also he doesn't need to because you offered to meet him anywhere, everywhere. So that said, you still don't know if he actually read your messages. So
I still don't know if he's real. I don't know if he's a real human being. I don't even know if
you did know he was real because you've known him since middle school.
That's true.
Let's not change our stories here. I'm trying to help you here, man.
You're literally going to go mad just trying to adjust this situation because it's so crazy.
Help you here. The
Let's
more we adjust,
I'm going to check one more time.
Yeah, the less we adjust, the better. So, I'm sorry. I'm just reading the comments right here. Angus McHugh says, "Wow, I have had steak and lobster only a handful of times. Never have I consumed it both at one sitting."
Surf and turf, man. Surf and turf.
Surf and turf. Angus. We're gonna just veer off the path just for a second. I'm just gonna tell you, man, treat yourself, dude. Like, or go. You know what? I don't know your marital situation or dating or whatever, but like, you got to do it, man. It's steak and lobster is like a rite of passage. Like, you won't regret it. Where were we, Jeff? Like,
hold on. I'm looking right now. I'm creeping on his Instagram from my other account.
Instagram.
He's got allegedly there's a chicken sandwich.
How do I scroll back these messages? I think I missed some. He's amazing, man. I think Robbie Bloodshed just came in to say hi, and then he bailed.
Yeah, he does. That's what I have a lot of regulars that just are like, "Hey, what's up?" They come in, they just want to say hello, and they bounce. That's what they do.
Yeah, we'll both have to remind them that we gave him a good plug.
Yes. I'm seeing pictures of dogs allegedly and ninja bikes and a marble floor.
Here's what I would recommend in your quest for justice.
Yes.
You said you got some shared cohorts, if you will. So there should be someone, associates. There should be someone that could convey a message from you to Mr. Stacks.
Yes.
Some way, right? Okay.
Yes.
So that's where we need to start. And I don't think I've condemned Mr. Stacks yet. I think I've said that he needs to make right, but I haven't said that he, doesn't intend to or that he's dodging or anything. Because I think I might have talked a little trash.
No. I just read something that I have to read you.
Sorry, I thought you were laughing at me.
Finish what you're saying, and then I have to read you something.
I'm a very serious guy here, Jeff.
Go ahead. No, finish what you're saying.
Yeah, so I think in your quest for justice and your quest for a steak and lobster dinner, which is no small request. I mean, let's face it. Who doesn't want a steak and lobster dinner? I've been thinking about it all day ever since you've been talking about it.
I can't stop thinking about it.
And that's what happens. It's not that Mr. Stacks is living rent free in your head right now. It's that steak and lobster dinner that's living in the penthouse apartment in top of your head going, yeah, if the steak and lobster dinner gets satisfied, then Mr. Stacks goes away. We get it. We get it.
That's
Jeff.
right. Rue Morgue is here. I just want to say hello to Rue Morgue. How are you?
Murders in the Rue Morgue.
Rue Morgue. Okay, so two things, two important wrinkles here. Two important wrinkles. Wrinkle number one, as I inspect this, allegedly inspect this social media profile that is an Instagram handle, it seems to me that there's only one transportation vehicle. There is no fleet. It looks like the same picture of the same vehicle many times over. I don't have any proof of that. That's number one. Number two, there's this communication from Mr. Stacks allegedly where he has basically doxed an individual on his Instagram saying the following. He says, allegedly, he says, please share and repost. This is to his many Instagram followers. Please share and repost. Hold on, sorry. Hold on. Last time. He's saying, please share and repost. This man needs to lose his job. He is very disrespectful. Wait. He's saying, that
was what Mr. Stacks said about somebody, or that's what somebody said about
no,
Mr.
okay,
Stacks?
so Mr. Stacks allegedly took a photograph of somebody's badge from an alleged place of alleged work with his picture and his full name, and then wrote this message underneath the post saying, please share and repost. This man needs to lose his job. He's very disrespectful and is not doing his job. My lawyer will figure it out, though. In the meantime, undisclosed location is a SHIT show and needs to be shut down. The lack of professionalism and cleanliness is not there. So Mr. Stacks is allegedly asking for this man to lose his job and wants to shut down a place of medical practice. That's all I will say. A place where people go when they're really sick, a medical practice place that people rely on to get their health needs met. But Mr. Stacks allegedly wants this place to be shut down.
Allegedly, what was his reason for wanting to shut down this medical place?
He does not address what happened. All he says is, please share. This man needs to lose his job. Like, he just wants this man to lose his job because he's very disrespectful and is not doing his job. That's what he says. And that his lawyer will.
And feel free, when you reach out to Mr. Stacks via a secondhand, transmission company, third party, whatever you call them. But let Mr. Stacks know that I'm glad to evaluate that situation, because I think we should probably know a little bit more about someone before we demand that they be shut down completely and deny medical services to the public. Maybe there's
ridiculous.
Maybe there's not. I
just can't believe he posted this man's badge.
Mr.
wants this man to lose his job.
That seems a little extreme in my.
This is very cold-hearted for Mr. Stacks. No, I do not believe Mr. Stacks. Mr. Stacks definitely does not listen to the Misfits. He should. He should listen to the Misfits.
Sorry, I need to catch up on these comments too.
Angus says Jeff might need to bring a food taster like Putin has to check for food poisoning. I would definitely, for the steak and lobster dinner. It's what is it called? A pyrrhic victory.
I don't.
It's a pyrrhic victory.
As a social adjuster, I've never heard that term before.
Okay, so I'm probably butchering the word, but basically there was a war fought in Greece called like the Pyrrhic War, and it's basically like a euphemism for like a metaphor for when you
win the battle, but everything is destroyed.
you win the battle, but at great cost
Yes.
to yourself, where it's not really a victory because you lost so much winning. So it's
Right.
a pyrrhic. That's what's known as a pyrrhic victory, something like that. I'm pronouncing it wrong, but that's what it is. That's what this is with Dave.
Little history lesson for you kids.
Yeah, that's what this is with the whole situation. So yeah.
I'm just looking at my legal pad.
Yeah. We actually we should. I think we need to reach a census.
Have I left any open items here?
No, I believe that we've been incredibly thorough in the discussion. Really, it comes down to your final decision as to whether or not I am right or wrong. That's basically what we're bottom lining here.
Okay, here it is, and I have to
whatever comes.
I always have to, in full disclosure, disclose any biases, predispositions, assumptions, etc. And so, like I said, this is a moral judgment and not a legal judgment because no receipts exist. I would say that we could revisit this later if Jeff gets some confirmation that such requests for honoring the promise of a steak and lobster dinner actually get read and get accepted. Right now, we don't know that Mr. Stacks has even seen those messages. So it's hard for me to go too hard on Mr. Stacks right now, knowing that he might not be aware of what's transpired.
I found another post, JW. I found another post. This is a post of an actual steak. And here's what
it says. A steak NFT?
No,
Angus?
Yes, it actually is kind of a steak NFT.
Who was the guy that suggested? Alex Hiddle.
Right. So check this out. This is an actual steak NFT. Here's what is commented underneath the steak NFT. It says, "We don't live the same," allegedly, under the steak. And then it says, #boss. Stop it. Can't stop, won't stop. Good eats steak. Those are the hashtags, allegedly. And that's what Mr. Stacks does. He shows you what he's eating and he doesn't bring you to the table. And that's my grievance. So shame on you, Mr. Stacks. And I hope that someday you make good on your promise for a steak and lobster dinner. In the meantime, I won't hold my breath.
Let me do this in the interest of my client, Mr. Frumess. I will implore Mr. Stacks to do the right thing. Mr. Stacks, I've not made bad judgment on you. I've heard the evidence. I've heard the, presentation here from Mr. Frumess. I have no reason to distrust his credibility, his version of the timeline here. Everything in my mind and in my heart is accurate and true. That said, I don't know yet if you've acknowledged it. So you will soon acknowledge it because at my urging, Mr. Frumess will, through a third party, get that message conveyed to you that you do owe him a steak and lobster dinner because that is what you promised and that is what he accepted. But you guys have just not yet settled the terms, the where, the when, the how. So that said, I'm not going to pass any bad judgment on Mr. Stacks.
Mr. Stacks, yes.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, let's wait until he's heard the acknowledgement and the reminder that this took place 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was. I really don't know the date. And Jeff might not know the date either. But at some point in the history of mankind, Mr. Sachs, you did offer my client a steak and lobster dinner, and he accepted. And you acknowledged the acceptance of that dinner and said you would work out the details. So that's all I ask. That's all we're here for. Work out the details. Mr. Stacks, please contact my client. Let him know when he can meet you. I guarantee, I've known Jeff for 6 or 7 years. Like I said, I don't know the exact date, but he's a pleasing guy. I've always had a good time talking to him. And I bet if you sat down and not only sat down with him, but had a steak and a lobster in front of you, yeah, it might cost you a little bit of money. We all know what a steak costs. We all know what lobster costs. It's 2023. Inflationism. I know, Jeff. I'm not going to curse. It's a thing. It's a thing. It hurts. Inflation, whatever. Look, money is nothing. Memories are everything.
That's right.
Mr. Sachs, please, I guarantee you, have a nice dinner with my client, Mr. Frumess. You will have a good time. He will have a good time. You will both be able to close this case and live on a positive note. He will plug your transportation business and your food.
Riotstickers.com, Mr. Stacks. Get your stickers made up for your business. It's the only way to go.
Yeah, riotstickers.com. Everybody will be happy. I will guarantee you a plug for food proprietorship and transportation ship, all of that. You guys will have a great time. Just contact my client. Make it right. Do the right thing. That's all I ask. And Jeff, that's Mr. Frumess.
Yes.
That's where I'll close my case. I think, it's all about doing the right thing. Like I said, it's not the U.S. Supreme Court, but I know that he made an offer some years ago. Don't know when, but I'd like to see this thing come full circle. I'd like to see you both have a good time, and I'd like to see you both squash this. And hey, I like steak and lobster too. Just saying. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, that was your closing statements were perfect. Angus says in the comments that maybe Mr. Stacks will get a tax write-off, so maybe that will happen. I really feel like a great burden has been lifted off of my shoulders now. And frankly, if I don't ever get the steak and lobster dinner, which I don't think is ever going to happen, I think I'm going to be okay with that. And in the future, I know that if I need to litigate my social situations, that I can, and I can, I can be free of this. So with that, we're going to close. Thank you again, Mr. JW, social adjuster, rapper, wrestler, danzigologist.
Yeah, I went upstairs. I tried to find my Metallica shirt that said "Justice for All" because I wanted to get you justice for everybody and all. And I ended up with
that's perfect. Merciful Fate.
I couldn't find my and Justice for All shirt. I had a Merciful Fate shirt. I am merciful. I give you guys your fate. It's I think I'm a fair assessor. I had a sport coat. It's very legal. I had Justice is Blind. I had my glasses, which I recently had prescribed. So, what more can we ask for?
No, nothing.
I've given it my all. I think I'm impartial. I believe I've given you my due diligence and my best effort for justice.
Thank you.
Like I said, I'm always transparent. I'm honest. I tell you that maybe you don't have a legal case. You don't. But I present the moral situation, and as a friend, I know that you're a man of your word. You wouldn't be making this stuff up. So I really hope, Mr. Stacks, Just give my man a steak and lobster dinner. Let's all close this. Let's have a great time. Let's all just end on a positive note.
Damn straight.
Hey, and God bless America.
God bless America. Okay. We say peace and hair grease. We're going to peel out of here. That's right, Rue Morgue. Justice for Frumess, steak and lobster dinner. Damn friggin'
steak and lobster dinner. Justice for Frumess.
That's right. I'm so going to make t-shirts.
Okay.
I'm making t-shirts. Justice for Frumess.
Justice
for Frumess. That feels like, yeah, frummy, yummy frummy in my tummy. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Peace and hair.